came too far, I ain't giving up. Hey, I had to cut what was weighing me down. And then when you grow, they say that you switching up. Hit the perimeter, defending the fort, we crushing the visitors. I got it locked, ain't taking a prisoner. Thought it was sweet until they chin hit with a finisher. Heartbreak, Nicky, I'm voiding the slips. I'm raising the stakes, enjoying the risk. Injecting my veins with ice, as cold as it gets. I live for this shit. Die as a legend, I ride with aggression. I lost in the past, it's fine, it's a lesson. I'm loading the clips, I fire the weapons and taking what's mine. It's time for redemption. Yeah. I came too far, I ain't giving up. Hey, I had to cut what was weighing me down. And then when you grow, they say that you switching up. Hit the perimeter, defending the fort, we crushing the visitors. I got it locked, ain't taking a prisoner. Thought it was sweet until they chin hit with a finisher. Heartbreak, Nicky, I'm voiding the slips. I'm raising the stakes, enjoying the risk. Injecting my veins with ice, as cold as it gets. I live for this shit. Die as a legend, I ride with aggression. I lost in the past, it's fine, it's a lesson. I'm loading the clips, I fire the weapons and taking what's mine. It's time for redemption. Yeah.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Foul Ball Talk. Tim Malarkey, Matt Trigger here. We are covering the last couple weeks of Orioles baseball since we have been on a little bit of a scheduling snafu between our personal lives and all that. Tim, first and foremost, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Orioles haven't really given us a chance since this is the first off day, and I don't even know how long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like
I think you put
games straight or something.
Yeah, I think it was like 15 or 16 straight. We currently sit 4 games under 500. And
20 and 24.
This team is unpredictable at best and frustrating at worst. My confidence is not where it was the last show because there's not a whole lot to be confident about when you look at the day-to-day playing of this team.
No, I mean, I get that. I'm hesitant to say what I saw in the last series against the Yankees. Restored a little bit of hope. I was really down bad heading into that New York series. I was thinking, we're going to, after what they did to us up in the Bronx, swept us in 4 games. I was concerned. I think a lot of people are completely valid in their concerns. There's there's a lot of bad baseball being played, right? Everywhere down from, the pitching to the offense. I mean, the bullpen has been kind of a hidden gem, I guess you could say. There has been a lot of positive in the bullpen, which we'll touch on. I want to still remain positive, though. I mean, we're technically 1 game out of the wild card. The AL is disgusting right now. There's not a lot of good baseball being played across the AL. Somehow those little cockroaches that are always around every year, the Tampa Bay Rays, are red hot.
Unbelievable.
The Yankees, they were hot. They went on a little bit of a losing streak before they came to us, and then we took 2 from them. So I think they were 5 losses, 1 win, and then we won again. So they went 6-1 in a stretch. So gave Tampa Bay the jump that they needed. But with the way the AL is sitting right now, it's crazy. If you look at it compared to the NL, like, it's to think that we're 20 and 24 and 1 game out of the wild card if the playoffs were to happen right now is nuts.
Yeah, I kind of want to lead off the topics of conversation. I know you have a lot to, graph wise and pitcher wise and all that. Is Trevor Rogers alarming you yet?
I wouldn't say I'm sounding the alarm yet. there is a little bit of a concern when it comes to, if I'm going to sit him side by side with Bradish. What is a little bit alarming is Bradish's stuff, his movement, his spin rate, his 2-strike pitch is electric, right? It's up there in the league across pitchers. He has that put away pitch, and he has that stuff where Bradish can afford to miss. He can afford to miss a pitch. He just can, because his stuff is that nasty. What worries me about Rogers is he can't, if his location is off, he's in trouble. He doesn't have that put away pitch, and a lot of the trouble that he's gotten himself into, and a lot of the reason for his earned runs, like the stats on it are crazy. He gets into these 2-strike counts where all he's got to do is have that one pitch to put the guys away. The amount of 2-strike hits off of Rogers this year is disgusting. It's terrible. I mean, there's obviously a little bit of bad luck mixed in, but that's what concerns me is so far this year, he hasn't had that put away pitch that he needs. So if he's not locating, then we're in trouble. The thing about Trevor, though, is I think, he'll put his head down. We saw what he did last year. I'm not saying it was a fluke at all, but I know that he's the kind of guy that can correct and get himself on board. If he's locating his pitches, he's not going to get touched. We're going to see the same Trevor as last year. But even the slight non-ability to find that zone when he needs to, he's in trouble, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm panicking yet, but maybe this is closer to who he is than that 12 to 14 game sample size a year ago. And I don't want to say that he's a bad pitcher, because I'm not saying that. But he hasn't really had any of those starts that make you feel confident the way that he did last year. And Bradish looks like he's kind of finding his groove now, which is great. But with Baz inconsistent, Bassett inconsistent, we're now throwing spot starts to guys like Brandon, Trey Gibson, all these guys. It's
little spotlight on Brandon Young. How about him going out there and letting us get that win, though?
Yeah, I'm not saying that he went out there and gave us a chance. I'm happy about that. That's a bright spot in itself. It just worries me that, a lot of fans, myself included, were ready to throw a lot of money at Trevor Rogers. And now the Orioles are probably finding reasons to not give him that extension just yet. And
to what you're saying, I'll just pull this up now so that, everyone can take a look at it. This is, the lowest ERA in your starting rotation right now is Brandon Young. And he's only started I don't even know how many games, 3. And, he's at a 4.15. So we don't have anybody a sub 4 right now in the rotation, which is, it's not ideal.
Yeah. Looking at this and just the overall body of work, have we seen enough of Povich as a starter?
In what direction are you asking that question? Have we seen enough of Povich as a starter to make a decision on what kind of pitcher we think he is? Or have we seen enough of Povich as a starter to, cut ties, if that's what you're saying?
Not necessarily cut ties, but more along the lines of just using him for what he is. He's a bullpen arm at this point to me.
Yeah, maybe like a long reliever type of arm. The thing about Povich too is he doesn't have that high leverage pitch. I like what I see from him. I think he's young, and I think he needs to, get some rust on those bones, so to speak. Is he a top end of the rotation guy 5 years from now? Probably not. Could he slot in to be a 4 or 5 on a good baseball team? Probably.
I don't have the same confidence. I think They just got to call it how they see it and how we see it. I don't think he's a starter. One good start every handful of starts is not enough. Even in that 6-man rotation or the spot five, just be the long man. Carve out your niche being the long man. We saw it happen years ago with, and I'm not saying that they're equal, but Zach Britton was a failed starter, and he ended up being a monster high leverage closer. Zach Britton was different, of course, but I just don't see Povich projecting out into this rotation.
I can see that. I think Povich would slot in great as a long guy, as a hump guy, as a middle reliever that could go 2-3 innings, and fill that role, sort of like an Albert Suarez from last year. Give you a spot start if you need it. I can definitely see that, and I'm glad you brought up Zach Britton. I was listening to Zach today. Shout out Zach. He's got a new little venture. If any Orioles fans are tuning in right now and want to check it out, what he's up to, Zach has a. He said there's a lot of guys in the podcast game and interview game that he created this news article or press release sort of thing. It's called The Save, and he writes about baseball, keeps him connected to the game. But it's go check it out, Zach Britton. It's called The Save. It's an awesome read, awesome read. But the thing about Zach is like his stuff was gross, and another thing about him was he literally had a conversation with Buck Showalter, and he had this issue when he went to New York that he didn't like going 3 or 4 games without pitching. So when there wasn't a save opportunity, that's the reason Buck trotted him out there. And that's, he would pitch in non-save situations because he was of the idea that he felt like he would lose his pitches if he went 3 or 4 games. I mean, you had guys like Aroldis Chapman who would only pitch in save situations and go 8 or 9 days without pitching.
Mm-hmm.
So Britton was like a bulldog, and I don't necessarily know if I get that feel from Cade. But
no, not at all. I'm just saying Britton got to focus on that
by being a failed starter.
It was clear cut from the skipper where he was going to be, and then it allowed him to excel. If Albernaz does that with Povich, I'm not saying he's going to turn into Zach Britton. I'm just saying he'll have the ability to fine-tune what he needs to fine-tune, knowing that he's not going to have to go out there and give 5 or 6. He can give an inning or 2 or 3, and he can be one of those guys that you could throw out there for the first 3 innings of a doubleheader.
Well, we might not even have to worry about this conversation since he's on the IL with elbow discomfort. I mean, I know they say it's the whatever lateral, bilateral, the outside of the elbow, which is the good elbow injury. But you and me, Matt, we've watched enough in our lifetime and been around the game that it doesn't matter where on the elbow it is.
Nope.
Elbow's an elbow.
Perfect example is who we just traded to Los Angeles in the offseason. I don't want to hear I don't want to hear anything else. That elbow's dead. That shoulder's dead.
That'll transition us into our something that you called in our first show this year. You called it last year with the player who now plays in Los Angeles, as you just mentioned. But we got some interesting medical updates this week, and one of the main ones was Jordan Westburg, and I think the exact quote was there were evaluating opinions. So what you got to say about Jordan Westburg, Matt?
I'm going to reiterate what I said in the beginning. I agree with that. Z-Farm, I do agree with that. Let me say this about Westburg. Why are they delaying the inevitable? The thing is with what they did look what they did with Eflin. Eflin got hurt in his first start and had surgery a couple of days later.
Before we even knew it.
We knew something was wrong, but he had surgery because what's the sense of the injections and the physical therapy? Buddy, just go get it worked on and then be back and be ready for spring training of 2027. It's not a hard concept. I don't know what this team's deal is with doing the alternative therapy methods. Eflin's already into his rehab, his physical therapy.
Do you want to hear my
Westberg could be there right now, but he's still dicking around.
You want to hear my conspiracy theory on it?
What's that?
Is that we all know his agent Scott Boras, smart guy. We might all hate him, but he knows what he's doing, and I think they might be riding on the fact that if Jordan Westberg can get healthy to come back sort of the end of the season enough just to get through this season, right? They could be banking on there being no baseball next year. A lockout and banking on no baseball allows you to still get playing time this year, still hold your value, then have the surgery and have a whole year to recover from it.
There's the what if there's no baseball, but what if there is?
That's the gamble.
Then you're talking about an entire year wasted on shenanigans. Just get the surgery done. Just get it done. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I know it doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of the people that are watching this show or that are Orioles fans in general. Westberg was not going to when they uttered elbow injury. You're playing the hot corner. You got one of the strongest arms on the team, and you're talking about a inside elbow injury. You know what it is. It's not very common for position players to get the surgery, but you could have got that surgery back in February or March, and you could be 2 months into post-recovery rehab. But you're still wherever you are down in Florida, working out, doing your thing, reporting to extended spring training or whatever it's called, and you're hurt. He knows he's hurt. We all know he's hurt. He's not going to play an inning for us this year.
What are your thoughts on Jackson Holliday?
In what regard?
With this injury that everyone else that had it on the same day as him, had surgery on the same day as him, has been back and playing baseball since opening day. He just hasn't.
I'm going to stick to my guns and say...
I think it's a little protection of investment.
I don't think so. I think it's daddy in his ear.
Take your time.
Yeah.
No reason to rush it. It's tough. I think about it. If I was that young, and
excuse me, I'm sorry.
If I was, if I had that many years until I was searching for my big payday, and I didn't think it's tough. I go back and forth because you think the personal aspect of it. You're looking for that big paycheck, that big contract, to play on a winning baseball team. But then the competitive person in me, the team player in me, is like, man, I would be back as fast as possible because I want to help my team. I want to play for the team that drafted me. I want to help my team. But then I think about it and I'm like, but you also got to look at the personal aspect. He's protecting himself and his family and, his future. It's tough. It's a back and forth.
I don't want to say we made a mistake drafting Jackson Holliday, but I feel like it's clear that he's on borrowed time here. No matter who his agent is, I don't think his dad's going to let him re-sign here. That's just my vibe. I know that he's years away from arbitration and years away from free agency. I think it's 2030 or 2031 or something like that. But you can't tell me that he wants to be here because he would be making the effort to get back here. Now, I can't say everybody heals differently from surgery. I'm not.
I'm of the opinion that we haven't even seen him play enough to evaluate what kind of player he is.
We haven't. We got less than a whole season sample size. I mean, he could be the next Brian Roberts. He could be the next.
Crazy to think about that.
He could be the next Robbie Alomar. He could be the next Melvin Mora. Or he can be like the next Jeff Rebele. We don't know. We truly don't know.
Idea. There is one very bright spot in this Baltimore Orioles locker room right now, and I think he's going to get an automatic all-star bid, and I think that the story behind him and everything that's been going on and with this team with baseball. But like, if you listen to this guy's story and figure out that he was, it took him 6-7 years to break a lineup in the big leagues, and he bet on himself. He believed in himself, and we're seeing it. He's allowed one hit this year, one single hit. This guy's going to be an all-star for the Baltimore Orioles and in Major League Baseball this year. So we're going to pull him up on here.
Absolute monster.
I mean, it's insane. Nobody predicted this.
No, I didn't even know who he was before this year.
Nobody. No Orioles fan, no MLB scout, pundit, whatever you want to call it, media member. Nobody. This guy, he's working himself into a payday.
Yeah.
A big payday. 97th percentile in pitching run value. 98th percentile in breaking run value. 98th percentile ex ERA. 99th percentile in expected batting average, exit velocity, whiff percentage, 98th in hard hit percentage. Like, it's crazy.
Can I just tell you, half of this shit sounds made up? It does.
Like, I can explain which each one means if you'd like.
No, Tim, no.
Uncle Rico.
He's obviously going to be our lone bright spot. The kid throws nothing but gas.
He was drafted in 2016, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And people now know his name. 10 years.
Better late than never.
It's nuts. This, and hearing like other teams talk about him, other batters, other hitters, like they even say like, it's crazy. I trust this man more than any other player on this team right now. And nobody knew who Rico Garcia was.
Watch Elias flip him after the All-Star game for 2 17-year-old prospects we'll never see.
I believe he is a free agent after this year.
Well, of course he is.
So.
Of course he is. He's 32. We don't know who he is.
So, Uncle Rico.
I'm pleasantly surprised by him. He's been the lone bright spot to me, and the bullpen's been relatively decent.
They have. Nooners, Anthony Nunez, coined Nooners by my wife. Hi, Nooners in the building. He's been electric. I mean, seeing, and you know who's having a great year? And it's funny because I know you're not necessarily his biggest fan. Yennier Cano.
Yeah, I'm laid off of him. He's having a pretty solid year. I'm not gonna dog the guy because he's been the drizzling shits the last couple of years.
And what's wild is our bullpen's been doing this without the closer.
Yeah.
And to think that like Cano into Anthony Nunez into Rico Garcia has been unstoppable is something that nobody predicted before the season started. Everybody was putting their cards in. What's the weak point of the Orioles? What's the weak point of the Orioles? Oh, this is one of the best offensive lineups in baseball. Oh, this is the best catching duo in baseball, which I personally think they actually lived up to. Oh, this is, this rotation is going to play. This is going to be a really solid rotation. But I'm worried about the bullpen. Yeah, who would have thought? Yeah, BC baseball, we're don't worry.
The baseball gods are fickle.
Yeah, this is coming, BC baseball. This is coming. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Before we talk about Gunnar and the rest of the offense, I really hate the type of position that the Orioles put themselves in because Colton Cowser needs to be in Norfolk like yesterday. He's a good hand defensively. The guy's not a good hitter. And
the worst part about it is that I had his back, and I still think that he's a Major League Baseball player. So I'll never say he's not a good baseball player.
Not an everyday Major League Baseball player.
Well, the issue is that we now have, I'm a numbers guy. We up until this point we didn't have a full sample size. We now have 1,000 at bats.
Yeah.
We have a full sample size to make a decision on what kind of batter this guy is. And to be honest, it's sad. It sucks.
Yes, it is. And he has, if you wanted to build your ideal baseball player prototype for the outfield, it's Colton Cowser. Height, speed, agility, the athleticism is through the roof. He's good with the glove. He's got a solid arm.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. I mean, and then you realize that he can't hit his body weight. He can't hit anything off speed. It's like we have a real life Pedro.
It's rough.
Pedro Serrano in real life.
What are we at right now? Oh my goodness. It's batting 171.
I could do that.
With a .462 OPS. On base percentage of 264.
I mean, come on, man. He's not even hitting his body weight.
He's got a negative .3 WAR.
Mayo, Cowser, O'Neal.
I'm fingers crossing over here that we're, still kind of in the same opinion with Mayo, but I'm hoping that these last two series he's kind of turned a leaf a little bit. Nothing to like jump up and down and run across the yard in excitement, but
keep it up.
He's had two good series. What concerns me is that we saw him hit 3 home runs in 3 back-to-back games early in the season, and then he flatlined. So if we can get another, a third and a fourth and a fifth, start stacking those good series, hopefully we're seeing something there. I mean, he's putting in the work. Apparently he's been the first one in the stadium and the last one to leave. He's been asking guys like Pete Alonso to show up early and work with him. He was in the outfield the other day with the infield coaches working on his releases and his defense, and they lowered his leg kick a little bit. So he's word on the street is that he's there grinding and putting in the work. I think he scored big points for me when he had that audacious error 4 games ago where it lost us the game. He didn't pull the old run and hide from the media cameras. He stood at his locker like a grown man and faced the music, which is like big because you don't see that much anymore. A lot of these athletes will hide from the media when something like that happens, but I think that was big to see Kobe do. So there is a little bit of positive there.
Yeah.
This is on your Colton Cowser discussion.
Yeah. Gunner's more complicated to me, man. I don't know. You're hitting 197. You're supposed to be one of the best players in baseball. What are we talking about here? 197?
Gunner? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something ain't right.
Just to kind of transition into the Gunner of it all.
I got to circle back to this Mayo comment. I don't know if you saw the news release, but they asked him how he felt about after letting the team down and stuff. And he said he talks to his dog because no matter what, when he gets home, his dog doesn't know if he had an error. The dog doesn't know if he had a bad game. And
he's right.
He's right. And it's, I don't know. He scored some bonus points for me there. So I'm really hoping he turns it on and, can get above the Mendoza line. But back to Gunner. Yes. Yikes. Where do we begin? What do we say?
Is
he a head case? I think we know the answer.
I believe so.
Is what we're seeing mental?
Yes, it's all mental. He's got the physical tools. It's between the ears.
Yep.
It's between the ears.
I didn't like that. Now, I'm going to preface this. Of course, I love him jumping off the 9 home runs to start the year and smashing the ball. And watching him in the World Baseball Classic, you know, the power and the electricity and the excitement, all that, you know, I love that, right? But what concerned me is seeing him at the plate when he hit those first 9 home runs for us. You know, he hasn't hit a home run since mid-April, so it worried me a little bit. It was almost like, you know, he's got something to prove. Pete Alonso walked into town and he's like, I'm going to hit more home runs than Pete Alonso. And it just looks like he's standing at the plate pressing so hard. Like it's evident. It's clear. I know everybody's talking about it. I know the broadcasters are talking about it. And I know he's frustrated with himself. You know, he's gone from the angry bat smashes and helmet smashes to now when he lines out, grounds out, he runs down the first baseline and he just stands there and stares into the abyss of the outfield.
Yeah. I think it's finally hitting this young man that he's expected to produce as a highly touted prospect.
Generational talent is what the headline read.
Generational talent. He's been compared to all the elites in the game. He came out hot when he came up here. He had a good second year. And he is yet to capitalize on any of it.
I was going to save this for Guess That Oriole, but we're just going to run it now.
Because two years ago, he was 1 home run shy of 40, right? 2024, he had 39 bombs, correct?
That is correct.
There we are.
He's in the bottom 20th percentile in batting average, bottom 32 in slugging, bottom 18.
Blue means bad, and there's a lot of blue. All right.
It's bad. It is really bad. I mean, just his batting run value, essentially what, you know, his value is to bring in a run when he's at the plate. It is in the 37th percentile, almost 3/4 of the way below average across the league.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's something ain't right. It's hard to kind of put a finger on one single thing. To me, just my eye test and watching a lot of baseball and doing this, being a fan for so long and looking at numbers and data, he is swinging his angle. The angle of his swing has increased. I think it's like 6 degrees or something like that.
He's
but in
trying
baseball,
to launch
it's
everything.
Huge. Everything's up. It's an uppercut.
Yeah, he's trying to launch. He's not trying to hit the ball. He's trying to smash the ball. You can't be doing that from the leadoff spot every night.
No, you can't. It's tough to. I'm a big proponent of getting Adley into that leadoff spot.
No, don't mess with what's not broken right now.
I fully believe that. I get that. I just look at it strictly from a data standpoint.
The thing is, though, data fucks things up sometimes because
it does.
It can be skewed.
Look at the Orioles.
Adley's having
Mike Elias. That's all this team is data, and look what it's done to us.
Adley's having his best season as a professional right now.
Leave him where he stands, that 3 or 4 spot.
Leave him where he is. Don't mess with that kid's psyche, because if you move him from the cleanup or the 3-hole to leadoff, the pressure will affect him. He bounced back from the injury relatively quick. Leave the man alone.
He looks like 2023 Adley.
I like it. I'm happy.
I
like it.
What's going unnoticed, and it's because people only pay attention to, you know, batting, but I think his catching is going way above noticed. He's in the 97th percentile in framing this year. He has looked great behind the plate. He had, last I checked, it was like he was number 1 in attempts to throw the runner out at second. He wasn't because of how many attempts he made, he wasn't leading in most success, but it's, you know, he looks great behind the dish. He looks great. And that was a big question, is can Adley sustain himself as a big league catcher behind the dish? Obviously, they knew that his bat would come. He's a switch hitter. We know what he can do with it. But not only is he performing well offensively for this team. Defensively, he's having a year. And this 2023 Adley, every time I say that word, my dog looks at me like I'm crazy.
I'm going to attribute it to one thing as well. Not the only thing, but one major thing. The extension and the promotion of Basayo to Baltimore. Because Basayo is a big young kid.
Taking weight off of him.
But Adley's proven he still belongs here and belongs in the discussion. And the fact that if Adley needs a night off from behind the plate, Basayo can step in. You're not like, I love James McCann, but you weren't getting anything offensively out of James McCann in the lineup.
No, I mean, and we can run back to this. Our two best batters right now are Adley Rutschman and Sam Basayo.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, some would argue Taylor Ward. I wanted to touch on that a little bit. He isn't, hitting the ball like we thought he would when he came in here, but he's getting on base. Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
I don't care how you get on base.
426.
I don't care how you get on base. Just get on base.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's the name of the game. Get on base. Produce. If you're not going to drive in runs, be the run that gets driven in.
Matt, he has 42 walks.
And 40 hits.
He has 42 walks in 151 at-bats.
Yeah.
A third of the time he's walking.
Which is amazing.
It's crazy.
They respect him. They respect the bat.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy. I think what blows my mind, though, is that you see his posted number of 35 strikeouts, and then you look at Adley, 16. Adley's not striking out. Remember last year and halfway through the 2024 season, he was swinging and falling to his knee?
Yep.
Anyone seen Adley fall to his knee, drop down to his knee behind the plate this year? No.
Not that I can recall.
How much of that do you attribute to him being healthy?
A lot. Almost everything.
You think we were hidden an injury for a while?
Yeah. Based on his output this year, yes. I can admit when I'm wrong, because I've been wrong about Adley for 2 years now. And I love to be wrong about Adley. I think Adley's going to be a fantastic piece for us all year. And I hope they can get something done with him. Because having both of those guys under contract for the next handful of years, if not decade, sign me up.
Yep. Nope. I think Adley is a bright spot in this team. Sam Basayo, I don't need to say anything about him. Taylor Ward, as it just rolled in right on time, Mr. Always on Base. I actually saw some wild comments on the internet that people were complaining about Taylor Ward. I
don't buy into any of it. And before we move on to Taylor Ward, I just want to say this. If you lock up Adley for a handful of years, okay?
Matt's always about the contract talk, so let's hear it.
No. When it comes time to where Alonso can transition into full-time DH, you can move Adley to first, and you could let Basayo be your catcher, and you're still paying all of them. And they can all transition into different roles. I mean, Pete's having a great year at first base.
Defensively, crazy.
Yeah, crazy good year. But I'm just saying, when Alonso hits that age 35 or 36 season, you can let him just keep his bat in the lineup, and you can have Adley at first base when he's 32 years old in the same manner that the Twins had Joe Mauer. I'm not saying he's going to be Joe Mauer, but I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like just the phasing.
Yeah, and
the phasing aspect of it.
You know, us Baltimore fans will never forget that Adley call-up game where something different happened. Just felt different.
Yeah, they did it on the fucking Preakness.
Yep, they sure did.
Assholes.
You think we got anything big coming this Saturday?
No. Why would
Preakness at Laurel Racetrack?
Man, that's a dump too.
Seating capacity of 4,500 people for the Preakness.
Yeah, like that's gonna be fantastic.
Someone had asked when was Adley a free agent, and
I think it's the year after this.
I was about to answer it, but we'll let Miss Kim throw it in there.
2028. Okay. So he'll be 30 when he's a free agent.
After this season, once the lockout happens.
I don't understand why everybody thinks there's going to be a lockout.
It's coming, Matt.
These owners know they can't implement a salary cap. It's no way. The Major League Baseball Players Association are the biggest gangsters in the professional sports world.
They are.
They're the strongest union out of all 4 major sports.
The strongest.
And it's not even close.
Yep.
The NFL is a juggernaut, and their union isn't even as strong.
That's why do you think baseball players' contracts are guaranteed?
Yeah, the union.
Mm-hmm.
And the NBA followed suit not much long after.
Sure did.
But these owners are going to lose money to spite themselves. I doubt it. I don't believe it.
This is why I believe it.
They're going to try.
They don't care. They don't care.
I disagree. I disagree. They still have to pay their bills and still, like, it's in their organizations and stadiums. You still got to pay everybody.
I don't necessarily think that we will see a full lockout, but I think we might see a asterisk next to this 2027 year in the history books for playing 60 games or whatever.
Here's another reason why I think it's not going to happen. Because after the lockout in '94, baseball was dying a slow death. It wasn't popular anymore. A lot of people turned away from the sport, and they relied on the steroid era and those home run chases to suck everybody back in. I don't even think they're gonna. I think they might miss some training, some spring training. I don't think they're gonna miss any regular season next year because there's too much money involved. It's not just about the players and the owners. It's the TV contracts. It's the streaming contracts.
Also,
it's all that.
I would hate to see them shoot themselves in the foot because I don't know if you noticed they put out their first quarterly projections or whatever it is for viewership for baseball this year. What do you think they were up percentage-wise over last year?
I'm going to say 10 to 15%.
It's bigger than I thought. It's 20%.
Wow.
MLB is up 20%.
And do you know why? It's a direct correlation to the WBC.
WBC, but then also everything that they've done for the game. There's now challenges, reviews, pitch clock. They sped it up. They moved games from 7 o'clock to 6:35 so kids can stay up later and watch it.
Yeah.
I would hate to see the momentum die.
See, that's as a fan and as the resident old man of the show, the grumpy old man that I am, I don't want to see a first pitch starting at 7:30 or 8 o'clock on a weeknight. I want to see first pitch start at like 5:30 while I'm eating my dinner. Like,
see, I'm so the opposite of that.
You and Steph are season ticket holders. I'm not. I don't want to sit down a stadium for 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, no. I don't necessarily want to do that. I like the length of the games now. I definitely agree with that. My issue with the 6:30 start times is like it's tough like to get from work, even if you're not going to the game, just by the time you get home, you know, if you have kids, animals, whatever the case may be, if you're a 9 to 5 worker, you're home at 5:30, you got an hour to get dinner, kids showered, house cleaned, dogs walked before the game's on. But do you know what this has also caused? Radio listenership, whatever you want to call it, is also up.
Yeah.
Because people are tuning in other ways now. I don't know. It's definitely interesting what they've done for the game. And it's a perfect segue into my next question. We've had a nice full sample size officially quarter of the way through the year of ABS. So I want to get your thoughts on how you think the ABS is going. I have a little bit of we're gonna watch something with our viewers and then we're gonna discuss.
I love it.
This happened in the Baltimore in the A's series. Our friends over at John Boy worked something up. So some of you might have seen it, some of you might not. But I know
go ahead and play it, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Yeah, we'll run some thoughts here.
Umpire Carlos Torres denied 2 ABS challenges. This breakdown is brought to you by NHTSA. We're in the first inning. A's Orioles, A's versus O's, a battle of the vowels. And Severino is trying to open the game up with 2 consecutive outs. 3-1 pitch, likes his spot. No, it was a ball. Taps his head. Umpire's like, no, too late, man. Too slow. Coach is like, what? What are you talking about? He tapped it too slow. It's too slow. He says, that's fucking wrong. That's fucking wrong. And it's still fucking wrong. It did not change in between the 2 times he said it. It was still wrong. He's seething. They're mad. The runner goes to first base now. Ball 4. The inning continues, but the gods are going to side with the Athletics and say you throw him out easily and tag him in the face. That umpire makes a proper call, so he is out. It just took a couple extra. No, it didn't even really add any pitches. He just got caught stealing. And now we hit that same spot, basically, and it's a strike. And then we hit the same spot on the bottom edge again, and it's strike 3. So they're all, strikes. It worked out. Let's go to the 3rd inning. I'll explain what happened there at the end because we got 2 cases of this. McNeil is at bat now for the Athletics, and it's the top of the 3rd inning, and we're going to have another denial. We've got first pitch of the inning in there, strike 1. Next pitch of the inning, fouled back. 0-2. They're going to go right at him. Get the strikeout. Top of the zone. They love it. Goes to throw it around. Tap, tap, tap. Hey, we're going to challenge that. Umpire's like, what? Pitcher Bassett's like, hey, we tapped. And you could hear some of the hot mics bleed through here. Yeah, he didn't tap. I didn't hear it. He's like, yes, he did. He's like, I didn't hear it. I called it a ball. And he says, he was going to throw it around, and then he came up and tapped. Oh, I didn't hear it. What the fuck do you mean you couldn't hear it? It's right in front of you. I don't know. I didn't hear it. But he's right in front of you. Well, I don't know. Oh, what even happened? What happened? They're trying to figure it out. This guy missed it too. He tapped what? Is this a new rule this year? You got to lock it the fuck in. We got to lock it the fuck in, Carlos. Hey, I hear you. No more. All right? No more. We got to lock in. Let's go. Let's go. And then all of his coaches start chirping. You can see the guy on the left by the phone. He's like, he's chirping. He tapped. And then the other coaches, and off screen to the right is Miguel Cairo, and he's chirping too. He says, "You're out of here." And look, this is funny. Miguel Cairo knows that he got ejected. He starts stepping up on the step to go fight, but then he realizes maybe it wasn't me. Maybe I'll play it coy. And manager is like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "Who got ejected? Me? Is it me?" And his coach is like, "Nah, it is him." And he's like, "What? Is him?" Yeah, it was him. And now Miguel Cairo is going to yell at him. And I don't know if this was Spanish or English or what, but he's fiery and he's hot and he's telling him that he hates his guts probably. He's like, "Okay, cool. I hate myself sometimes too." And get out of here. And they're throwing him back into the dugout. And he's like riding that step just to get a final word. And he's like, "It's hot and I hate you." And then he leaves. And that's it. Now, umpire Carlos Torres puts his mouth guard back in. This is what I wanted you to see right here. Wipes his head, puts his helmet on, and he's ready to go. So let's take a look at these two, because we got both managers now looking out and being like, "What the hell, dude?" And he's like, I was there a couple innings ago. So let's take a look and break down what happened on these two and why they got denied. The rule says the tap has to come right away within around 2 seconds and no external help, and you can't do any other movements before you tap. That's kind of like the general guideline of the rule. The problem is, for catchers, it's harder. The batter hears strike, and they know when their 2 seconds start. The catchers, if they don't hear ball, or that's outside, or that's inside, they don't know. They're just in limbo, and then they have to realize, oh shit, he's not calling it. So he thinks it might be a delayed punch out. Like he thinks the umpire might be taking 2 steps back to have the dramatic moment. Strike 3. So he's got to wait that out. So what I did was I found the punch out in the next at bat, and I wanted to see how long it takes the umpire, Carlos Torres, to do his strike 3 call. So you're going to hear it, and I put it on screen. Right there. That's how he does it. So it's real quick. Now, let's put these side by side and have it be the same timing. Even though he doesn't say anything for ball 4, he's just quiet. It's the same cadence. If the catcher was like, well, I know it would be around here, that's when the timer starts on the tapping. So right there, okay? We synced him up. is when he starts the strike call. So in his head, maybe he mumbled it, ball 4, very meekly, and the catcher has to hear it. Ready, set, go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I got him tapping in time. And that's not an official count. That's me saying 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And sometimes maybe I'm too fast on that.
That video could have been 40 seconds.
So, same thing happened to Sammy. Sammy was within the 2 seconds. ABS thoughts in general. Is it working? Is it not working? Do you like it?
It's working. Because it holds some of these god-awful umpires accountable for their shit. First and foremost. Now the umpires are finding a loophole saying that the 2-second thing, which is okay.
Right. And that's my big problem with it. They're going to find a way to beat it by saying no.
Yeah, because they don't want their authority challenged. They don't want any of it challenged. But the ABS works. I don't know why they just don't get rid of the home plate umpire and just have it called balls and strikes. It works fine. It would at least be consistent. It would at least be consistent. In that way there's nobody to yell at.
Yeah, and I think what the only thing that bothers me about is that you still have power of the umpire there with what we just saw, but then also there's players that are at an advantage and at a disadvantage because, like they just explained, the umps there's several umps that don't make ball calls. It's just silent.
Mm-hmm. Although
so you're not
a hand motion.
Hand motion. Yeah. So if you're looking at your pitcher, if you have runners on base, that catcher has no idea. So I think the teams will get better that, catcher can still have the ability to call it, but the pitcher has to be real aware because the pitcher can see. He can he knows what that call was. The batter has the advantage. Now, have you looked into certain players and their tendencies? Like, do you think that, like Samuel Basayo, when he's batting, not when he's catching, when he's batting, he thinks everything's a strike, man. I mean, a ball. I'm sorry. He thinks everything's a ball. He hasn't been the most successful behind the plate because he thinks everything's a ball. He has been very successful when he's behind the dish, though, with his challenges.
Yeah, I just posted that. She's right. It's like the NFL referees. They get paid $100,000 a year or something like that, or something ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. What are you even talking about here?
Is there anything that you would do different with ABS?
No.
Do you like that you get to and then you get to lose it?
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be a very important tool towards the end of the season. You're starting. You saw a lot of teams get bit in the ass by it, by having batters go up there and wasting 2 challenges early in the game.
Yeah.
And then 9th inning, you
need a challenge.
You need a challenge, and it doesn't go your way, and it's a clear thing. You also, I think there's a direct correlation in consistency of umpires calling balls and strikes when the teams have lost both of their challenges.
Yeah.
You see a consistency drop off.
Yep.
It's crazy. Now, do you have any kind of slack for the umpire that has to watch the runners on base, watch everything, and now also be alert to 3 different players being able to call a challenge?
I mean, I would give it a little bit of a grace period, but I'm not sympathetic to him.
Yeah, I don't have any sympathy either.
There's
I think we're on the same. Yeah. So this leads me into my next question.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's a direct correlation in viewership being up 20% with the fact that the MLB in general has not missed on any of its changes? The 3 biggest changes over the last 3 years. They got rid of the shift. They added a pitch clock. They added ABS challenge system.
And absolutely. The biggest complaint that I've heard from people that have been to baseball games that aren't fans of the game, it's a nuanced sport. It's not for casuals,
right,
to attend. Some pitchers taking up, anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes in between pitches. Shaking their arm sleeve, wiping their face, the resin bag, and the cleat thing, the cleat
cleat cleaner.
Yeah, the cleat cleaner on the mound. the huffing and blowing and all like that. All that psychological shit is taken out of the game. Like if I knew I was going to an Oriole game at 7 o'clock on a Friday night, I'm leaving the house at 6, hopping on the light rail, getting down there before first pitch, and then the game's not going to end until almost 11. No. You gotta do things to hold people's attention, especially this young generation where everything is social media driven and electronic driven, and the attention spans are not very large. So yeah,
and when you're playing 81 games a year at your home stadium,
right. You and I both grew up playing and watching the Orioles and playing the game. That's not the case for a lot of these kids. They need some now that you can have a game in under 3 hours is incredible. I wish the NFL would take a page out of their playbook because 3.5 hours for a football game is, unless it's a Super Bowl, is unreal.
It is.
And baseball doesn't have a lot of action. There's a lot of things that nuanced baseball fans appreciate and love, but not many times is a 0-0 game going in the 7th inning going to hold a lot of people's attention when everybody's either striking out, grounding out, or flying out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Nope. I get it. I fully get it.
They're making changes necessary. And on top of that, they're doing a fantastic job promoting their stars.
They are. All right, Matt. Well, we actually have an off day next Thursday, so we'll be right back in 1 week because we're off next Thursday. So,
yes.
We have Washington Nationals Battle of the Beltway this weekend.
Always a good series.
Then we run into some trouble. We have at Tampa Bay. And then we come home for Detroit. And then get this. Then Tampa Bay comes to us.
So we have an off day this Thursday or next Thursday?
This coming Thursday. So we have Washington and Tampa Bay, then we're off Thursday. Then we have Detroit at home and then Tampa Bay at home. And then right on the heels of Tampa Bay is Toronto. So we're getting into the thick of the AL East because we go Nationals, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Boston, Toronto.
No.
Yep.
The next month's going to tell a lot.
Out of the next 7 series, 5 of them are against the AL East.
Yeah. I'd say that's a little rough.
I think this is the make or break point for the Orioles.
Absolutely. This is the gauntlet right here.
Yep.
So we have 6 games in the next 6 days.
Yeah, we got it's 3-3.
3-3.
We play Friday through Wednesday.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say we're gonna be 4-2. I think we win both series. 2-1.
I like it. I say we're coming hot off of shutting out the Yankees 7-0. Fucking Bradish pitching his balls off. We shut out Washington. We roll in to Tampa Bay red hot. We win the first 2. We drop the last game.
I can dig it.
5-1 over the next 6. Let's fucking ride.
There we go.
You gonna break us down, Matt?
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, set your notifications, and share with your friends. Foul Ball Talk on YouTube. You can find Tim causing his chaos in Orioles Twitter or should I say X, at Foul Ball Talk. You can find me, mtrig WBP 3547. On there, I'm just rebuilding my following. Catch us next week after we recap the next 2 series, and hopefully, things end on the same note that me and Tim are expecting.
Yep. Let's go Birds. That's all I can say.